Hello, hello everyone. I'm Dr. Sapna Dadwal. I'm working as a professor in the Department of Management at St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management. This is lecture 23 of Business Law of Unit 4. This subject is taught in BBA first semester. Till now, I have discussed, I'm starting from the Negotiable Instrument Act. I have discussed negotiable instruments, types of negotiable instruments, like promissory note, bills of exchange, check. I have also discussed holder in due course, privileges of a holder in due course, and qualifications of holder in due course. Then crossing of check. So why checks are crossed, I have already discussed in my previous lectures. Then essential elements of check also. Then difference between check and promissory note and check, and then check and bills of exchange. I've also discussed liabilities of parties to negotiable instrument also. So the next topic I'm going to discuss in this topic, that is lecture 23 of BL. Negotiations, meaning of negotiation, meaning of assignment, then modes of negotiation, then endorsement, meaning and kinds of endorsement, then essentials of valid endorsement. The last topic will be dishonor of negotiable instruments and its mode of dishonor. Now I'm starting with first topic. The first one is negotiation. So negotiation is the process of transferring a negotiable instrument in the manner intended in a negotiable instrument. Section 14 of Negotiable Instrument Act says, when a promissory note or bills of exchange or check is transferred to any person so as to constitute that person the holder thereof, the instrument is said to be negotiated. Negotiation means transfer. Thus, negotiation thus makes the transferee a holder of the instrument to make him entitled in his own name to possess the instrument or to recover the amount due thereon, or sue on the instrument, or negotiate it further with other subsequent parties. For example, the second is assignment. The term assignment means transfer of ownership of an article by means of written and registered document under the provision of Transfer of Property Act. So negotiable instruments are chose in action, and therefore their ownership can also be transferred by assignment. So assignee also gets the right of a holder but not of a holder in due course. We have already discussed what is the difference between due holder and holder in due course. You can see the previous lecture, that is lecture number 21. So in other words, the assignee only requires or acquires the right of the assigner and no more. He doesn't become the holder in due course. For example, M executed a promissory note for rupees 1,000 in favor of R, who in turn sold the promissory note to N under a separate sale deed. N sued M for recovery of the amount of promissory note. M pleaded that N couldn't recover the money as he was not holder in due course. It was held that it was true that N was not holder in due course. So, but he was a holder under Section 8, so therefore he couldn't recover the money. So, now I would like to discuss between negotiation and assignment, the difference between negotiation and assignment. So, in the case of negotiation, consideration is presumed. whereas in case of assignment, consideration must be proved. Whereas in case of negotiation, the title of the transferee is better than that of transferor. It becomes holder in due course. Whereas in case of assignment, the title of the assignee is subject to the defects and equities in the title of the assigner. Whereas in case of negotiation, no notice of transfer is required to be given in the case of negotiation, whereas notice of transfer of debt is required to be given by assignee to the debtor in order to complete his title. If he will not give the notice, then the title will become defective title. Then in case of negotiation, the formalities are instrument payable to bearer are negotiated by mere delivery, and instrument payable to order are negotiated by endorsement and delivery. Whereas in case of assignment, the formalities are it can only be made in writing either on the instrument itself or in a separate document transferring to the assignee the transfers right in an instrument. Then in case of negotiation, a possessor of an instrument under negotiation can negotiate it further, whereas in case of assignment, it cannot negotiate it further. So this is the difference between negotiation and assignment. Now, the next topic is modes of negotiation. Negotiation may be effected by transferring a negotiable instrument with or without endorsement to another person. Instrument payable to bearer can be transferred by mere delivery, while instrument payable to the order of person are transferable by delivery and endorsement. So there are two ways of negotiation. That is by first one is by delivery, the second one is by endorsement. Now I'm starting with first, that is delivery. So a negotiable instrument payable to bearer is negotiable by delivery thereof. Thus bearer instrument may be negotiated by delivery only. It doesn't require the signature of the transferor and the transferee becomes the holder thereof by mere possession of the instrument. So the transfer of a bearer instrument is not liable on its dishonor because it has not been signed by him as an endorser. So he hasn't added his name as a credit to the instrument. So in case of delivery, or in case of delivery and in case of dishonor of the instrument, it hasn't the transferor doesn't become bearable or liable for the dishonor of the instrument because it has not been signed by him. His name was not written in the instrument. For example, A delivers a check to B for a safe custody. This will not amount to negotiation because there is no intention to transfer the ownership of the check to B. Second example is A owes B rupees 1000. A makes a promissory note for the amount payable to B. A dies, and later on promissory note is found in A's papers. A's legal representative delivers the note to B. B has no right to sue on the note because there is no valid delivery of the promissory note. So these are two cases of delivery. Now the second mode is endorsement. So negotiation by endorsement is the written order on the instrument by its rightful holder to make the payment to other person. So according to section 15, when the maker or the holder of the negotiable instrument sign the instrument otherwise than such maker for purpose of negotiation on back or face thereof or on a slip of paper annexed thereto, also signs for the same purpose a stamped paper intended to be completed as negotiable instrument. He is said to endorse the same and is called as endorser. Thus, endorsement is signing a negotiable instrument for the purpose of negotiation. So the person making the endorsement is called as an endorser, and the person to whom the instrument is endorsed is called as endorsee. Now the question is, who may endorse? Every sole maker, drawer, payee or endorsee, or all the several joint makers, drawers, payee, endorsee of negotiable instruments may endorse and negotiate the same of negotiability of such instrument has not been restricted or excluded as mentioned in section 15D. So these are the persons who can endorse the negotiable instrument, except if it's has been restricted or excluded as mentioned in section 50 of the Negotiable Instrument Act. Now the next topic is essentials of valid endorsement. The first one is must be signed on the back or face of the instrument or on the slip paper annexed thereto. It must be signature should be there. Then second, essentially it must be signed by the endorser himself. Then third is it must be completed by the delivery of instrument. Fourth is it must be made by the holder of the instrument. Now the next topic is kinds of endorsement or types of endorsement. There are 5 kinds of endorsement. The first one is blank or general endorsement. Second one is full or special endorsement. Then third one is partial. Fourth, restrictive endorsement. Then sixth one is conditional. So I'm starting with first, that is blank or general endorsement. An endorsement is said to be blank or general if the endorser signs his name only on the face or back of the instrument. A blank endorsement specifies no endorsee and the instrument in consequence becomes payable to bearer even though originally it was payable to order. Second one is fully or special endorsement. If an endorser signs his name and adds a direction to pay the amount mentioned in the instrument to or to the order of a specified person, the endorsement is said to be full, or this endorsement is called as special endorsement. Now the third kind of endorsement is partial endorsement. So when an endorsement purports to the transfer to endorsee a part payment or part only of the amount of the instrument, the endorsement is said to be a partial. A partial endorsement does not operate as a negotiation of the instrument. So this is called as partial endorsement. Now the next one is restrictive endorsement. An endorsement is said to be restrictive when it prohibits or restricts the further negotiability of the instrument. It merely entitles the holder of the instrument to receive the amount on the instrument for a specific purpose. So the endorser may, by express words, restrict or exclude the right of further negotiation or may merely constitute an endorsee, an agent, to endorse the instrument or to receive its contents for the endorser or for some other specified person. This is called a restrictive endorsement. Very clear that endorser may restrict endorsee from endorsing it subsequently. Then the last kind of endorsement is conditional endorsement. This endorsement limits or negatives the liability of endorser. It differs from restrictive endorsement, which restricts the negotiability of the instrument but does not limit the liability of the endorser. A conditional endorsement is of following types. The first one is sans recourse. Sans recourse. In this case, the endorser excludes his own liability for dishonor of the instrument towards the endorsee or any subsequent holder. Then and this he does by writing the words like sans recourse or without recourse to me after the name of the endorsee. Then second one is Facultative. In this case, the endorser may express words, increases his liability, or gives up some of his rights under the negotiable instrument. So this is known as facultative or facultative endorsement. Then third one is sense phrase. Sense phrase means where the endorser does not want the endorsee or any subsequent holder of the instrument to incur any expense on his account on the instrument. This is called as sense phrase endorsement. Then the last one is liability dependent upon a contingency. The endorser may make the endorsement in such a way that his liability depends upon happening of some specified event only. So this is called as liability dependent upon contingency endorsement. Now these are the questions which are related to the above topics we have discussed. If any query is there related to any of the topic we have discussed in this lecture, you can always contact me. I'm extremely sorry for the writing mistake. Please ignore those writing mistakes. Thank you. Thank you so much.